White to play and win. This is a good old kingside hack attack from white. And there's a really nice motif that comes into play here. So it's from the game Radic against Arend, correspondence game played in 1973. Before we look at the game continuation, so you can always stop and pause and try and work out what's going on here. I'd actually like to take you back to the beginning because I think it's quite funny this is a correspondence game because play is certainly not perfect. Well, this is 1973. People weren't checking their moves with the computers. So white starts with the good old Grand Prix attack. Now, instead of playing bishop c4, bishop b5, d3. So it rather reminds me of some variations in the Dutch where you play the bishop out here. But black has set up very modestly just with the pawns here. Probably better to put the pawn on d5, but anyway. And white goes for this maneuver, putting the bishop back on d1, which takes the bishop out of range of this knight. Typical maneuver in the Dutch. And queen g3, b5, and queen h3. So as the f-pawn has advanced, the queen finds a nice avenue over to the king side. Now, I would question black's defense here, but h6 just looks strange to me. You know, you should never weaken your own king. I'm afraid it's one of those little pawn moves at the side of the board. Much better just to plough on the queen side and try to open lines. But anyway, h6 played. g4, of course. g5, opening up lines. Now, whether this is sound or not, once you open lines, it's always very dangerous. Queen h5, so white is playing in a very crude way, just looking to advance the rook up the board, maybe to f4 to h4 or f3 to h3. g6, queen h6, and then rook e8 from black. So this is our starting position. And if black is given an extra move, then I think bishop f8 would come and bishop g7 to secure the king. But it's white's turn. Rook f7. So this is very nice because it drags the king up here. And then the queen comes in to check the king. King f8. And of course, white has a draw. Now, there is more than one way to win this position. You can just take on g6, but bishop h5, and this is a kind of magnet again. Because, yeah, if pawn takes bishop, then queen h8 check, g6. You see, it's about dragging the king up the board. That's what this magnet idea is all about. Giving up that g-pawn has brought the bishop into play. So if king f8, then bishop h6 mate. And there's another magnet move here, and that's bishop g5, and this is very beautiful. That's the main line. And queen g3 mate. Well, I'm sure you can work out the other variations. So yeah, it's a magnet. It's all about dragging the king towards your pieces or opening up lines. So in the game, bishop d8 was played, which potentially brings the queen over to the defense. Queen g6 should win here, but queen h8 is good. King f7, bishop takes g6. There's another magnet dragging the king up the board. And here is where the puzzle starts on chesspuzzle.net actually. But I thought it was interesting to see just a little bit further back. So it's white to play and win from here, really. So check. Queen h7. Now, if g6, then the king goes back to g8. And h7 is covered. So that's a disaster. Black wins that. But queen h7. Another check. And here we go. It's another magnet move. So g6 just drags the king up the board. It's all forced after a certain point. Now, we need to be able to bring these pieces into play. Queen h6. King has to go back. Queen h7 again. So king f8 allows bishop h6 and mate in a couple. So king f6 forced. Now, here's a very nice move. And this is magnet number 5. e5 check. So this drags the king up the board. If knight takes e5, knight e4 is mate. So it's also a clearance move. Clearing the e4 square for the knight. But king takes pawn, played. And here we have magnet number 6. Bishop f4 check. So king d4 allows queen e4 mate. So that's taken. Rook f1 check. So king g4. Oops, king g4 here. And then we just need to push the king to the right square. So h3 check. King g5 and knight e4 mate. Or king g3, knight e4 mate. Fantastic stuff. So yeah, there were, as far as I can see, 6 magnet moves in that position. Not Magnus moves, magnet moves. Dragging the king to a square it doesn't want to go to, basically. So just starting from the beginning, that's magnet number 1, dragging the king here. That's magnet number 2, I think, because it drags that pawn away. That's magnet number 3. So lots of checks. And we're in position again. That's magnet number 4. Bringing the king here again. Another check. And that's also a clearance move because it clears the way for this bishop to come into the game. And that's magnet number 5. Dragging the king up the board. As well as clearing the e4 square. And that's magnet number 6. And I don't know if we call h3 a magnet move, probably not. Just pushes the king to a square it doesn't want to go to. And that's checkmate. Wow. Lovely stuff. All forced. But there was another way to win. But yeah, the main line is just fantastic. If you want to check out all that analysis, then do look at the whole game, which you'll find on chesspuzzle.net. Just follow the link in the comments or in the video description. Thanks for watching.